With the Supreme Court weighing in on Donald Trump's immunity, the conservative justice's opinion that he's at least partially immune for what he did in office upends the timeline for his 4 criminal cases. Former Assistant United States Attorney Mitchell Epner believes each of the 4 cases, 2 state, 2 federal, will likely be impacted by Monday's ruling. In Manhattan, a jury already convicted Trump on 34 state felony counts in the so-called hush money case. But this ruling could affect the appeals process.
All of the false entries were made after January 20th of 2017. I'm not certain that that's going to be a winning argument, but I'm certain that he's going to make it.
In Georgia, Trump's felony RICO trial is already delayed. Epner says this new immunity argument for Trump's team could be a death blow for the prosecution. In the Florida felony classified documents case, Epner says because the alleged mishandling crimes took place after Trump left office, the high court ruling might not apply.
But given the prior proceedings there, I would expect that Judge Cannon would allow extensive briefing and possibly oral argument on these questions.
In D.C., Trump faces his most serious test in his January 6th insurrection case. The case inspired Trump's claims of immunity and is unlikely to move ahead anytime soon.
It is highly likely that he would, if he got an adverse ruling, he would seek to take it back to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court that ruled today.
Now it's up to the lower courts to decide exactly what presidential activity would deem Trump immune from criminal prosecution. Now, as they go through more time-consuming proceedings, the likelihood that Trump goes to another trial before the November election dwindles by the minute. Reporting in New York, I'm Peter Zampa.
And the Supreme Court declined to hear a case about laws in Texas and Florida meant to protect conservative views online. Those laws were blocked by lower court decisions in the blockbuster dispute. The decision not to hear the appeal means the laws will remain blocked for now. It delays a final ruling on the constitutionality of state laws preventing online platforms from moderating their own websites. Lower courts will now have to sort out the major constitutional questions involved. Supporters of the Florida and Texas laws said the laws would help guarantee freedom of speech for internet users. In continuing coverage, the fires near Ruidoso, New Mexico are mostly contained, but now the village has been hit with catastrophic flooding. Take a look at this video shared by the village of Ruidoso. Immediate evacuation warnings were given for multiple areas, urging people to get to higher ground. The floods washed through populated areas and along highways. The New Mexico State Department of Homeland Security and Emergency Management is now offering full-service debris removal. Any resident who is affected by the South Fork fire, Salt Fire, or flooding in Lincoln County is eligible for the program. Anyone can find out more information by calling the wildfire hotline. No rain here in West Texas. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Tom Tieferteller. Tom?
Well, we are looking at most of the thunder shower activity, even in New Mexico, starting to wind down. Never really got going across West Texas. We had plenty in the way of cumulus clouds, really about it. But as we look back towards south central New Mexico, some showers and thunder showers across the Sacramentos a little bit earlier. Never saw flood warnings in and around the Ruidoso area, but it looks like more activity on the way for tomorrow. We just saw some hot temperatures up to 98 out at the Middle National Air and Spaceport. Triple digits so in Big Spring, Monahans, Pecos, Wink, and down towards Fort Stockton, and the hot spot about 108 down towards Rio Grande Village a little bit earlier. Seeing things calm down now. 96, so still hot in Pecos, lower 90s across the Permian Basin, and still hanging on to 100 down near the lower tip of Big Bend National Park. Dew point temperatures have come up a little bit today, around 60 degrees, so a little bit of humidity out there. That combined with these gusty winds that are rather strong, gusting to 30 miles an hour at the present time, are going to lead the way to a very warm overnight, only dropping down into the upper 70s for early Tuesday morning.
CBS7 is following traffic alerts out of both Midland and Ector counties. In Midland, the traffic signals are reported to be out at Front Street and Marienfeld Street after an incident that took place Monday morning. The city has installed stop signs temporarily, and signal operations will begin once again after a temporary signal trailer can be set up. It is unknown how long before the signals will be replaced with permanent ones. We will, of course, update you. And Ector County will be chip sealing some of its roads over the next few months. It involves patching holes and laying down tar before laying down rock chips and then sealing them in. The full sealing process will be finished by the end of October at the latest. The county asks that drivers be aware of crews working and drive safely. The Odessa City Council has awarded $500,000 in funding to support Odessa arts. These funds come from the hotel occupancy tax funds that are used to promote tourism and the hotel industry. Odessa Arts plans to use the money to host more events and programming and for the upcoming Shakespeare Festival. CASA of West Texas held a Lunch and Learn informational session today to showcase the need for volunteers and what being an advocate looks like. Prospective volunteers learned what it's like to be an advocate for a child navigating the welfare system and ensure that their needs are being met while safe and permanent homes are found for them.
So really what our CASA volunteers do is they help build a team of support around children who are in foster care, and they walk alongside them. And while alongside that journey with the foster children, they're also making sure that they're in a safe environment and also making sure that their needs are being met and that kids in foster care aren't falling through the cracks.
If you're interested in learning more about becoming a CASA volunteer, you can visit www.casa-wtx.org. Now, a scam alert out of Midland County. People may be receiving phone calls from warrant services with a claim that they're in legal trouble and they need to take urgent action and contact Officer Green. Here's the deal. There is no Officer Green employed by warrant services. So again, this is a scam. Warrant Services advises the public to be cautious when receiving unexpected calls demanding personal information or payments. If you suspect you have been targeted by this scam or have any information regarding these activities, please contact Warrant Services directly. Across West Texas, Jefferson Street Park in Big Spring got some upgrades on Saturday. Take a look. It's all thanks to the Big Spring Chamber Leadership Class 41. Their class project was cleaning up the park, and the Big Spring Area Chamber of Commerce held a ribbon cutting with local leaders. So the park now has a brand new jungle gym, covered tables so people can rest in the shade. Independence Day is this week, and there are lots of 4th of July celebrations all across the Permian Basin, so you can stay right in your backyard. We'll start with Pops in the Park in Big Spring. That'll be July 3rd at the Comanche Trail Park Amphitheater. Then on July 4th, Midland and Odessa will have celebrations all evening, ending in fireworks shows. Midland's annual Star-Spangled Salute will be at Centennial Park, and Odessa's 4th of July Fandango will be in downtown Odessa on West 4th Street. CBS7 will have coverage of all of these events this week. TxDOT is also reminding those celebrating this year to be careful on the roads. More state troopers are expected on patrol this 4th of July looking for intoxicated drivers. Last year, more than 1/3 of traffic deaths over the holiday weekend involved drunk drivers. TxDOT says July and August are the two deadliest months for drunk driving. Driving under the influence and getting a DWI can result in fines and fees of up to $17,000. Remember, finding a ride or using a rideshare service can not only save you money, but save a life. Still ahead, the West Texas Food Bank is holding summer nutrition classes for kids. We tell you how you can sign your child up in just a few minutes.
Summer is a great time to get into new hobbies, especially for kids since they're off of school. And a great hobby for them to get into is gardening. And the West Texas Food Bank is offering gardening and summer nutrition classes. And here to talk more about that is Kayla Castleberry. Kayla, thank you for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
So tell me a little bit about these classes.
Yes, yeah. So we're teaching every Tuesday in Midland in the morning and then in Odessa in the afternoon. These classes are just about nutrition and gardening. A lot of it's about working with students. So typically this is for elementary age children, so about kindergarten through 5th grade. We work with them to try new vegetables and really learn kind of how those vegetables are grown, what that looks like, and really encourage tasting and trying new vegetables so that hopefully long-term nutrition that will help improve trying new things and long-term nutrition.
Yeah, it's a great way for kids to get involved and learn early on about long-term nutrition. So how can parents sign their kids up?
Yeah, so right now it is first come, first serve. So we just, you can just come at 9 a.m. at the Midland campus or at 1 p.m. in the Odessa campus. We're starting out in the garden actually on both campuses, but we are at the Midland site, we are starting in the Garden Learning Center.
So when are these classes? When do they start? And are they an all summer long thing?
Yes, yeah. So they started about 3 weeks ago, and then we'll have our 4th session tomorrow, and they will go through the end of July every Tuesday.
That's great. It's nice that it's all summer long. Definitely is nice to keep the kids busy. So what do you guys do in the classes? What can kids expect to see other than trying vegetables? How do you guys introduce them to the kids?
Yes, yeah. So we do lots of different fun stuff. Last week we learned about composting with worms. So we had a worm bin last week that we got to learn about, and then we had a snack that the worms could eat as well. So we ate some apples, and then we put the apple cores in, or whatever was left over, which was not much, in the worm bin for the worms to eat as well. And then this next week we're learning about seeds and sprouts. So we're going to be trying some different vegetables that have seeds in them. The plan is to do popcorn, since that is one of those things. And so generally we'll talk about the different parts of a plant, and as we talk about that part of a plant, we'll eat whatever vegetables that applies to.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like a lot of fun between eating and feeding the worms and the environment here. So talk about some of the benefits kids are going to see from this class.
Yes, so it's fun, and then we're getting to be outside. We're getting to learn about gardening. Hopefully we'll be able to learn kind of enough about gardening to be able to feel a little bit more confident maybe with our own garden. We're also just learning about where food comes from and how it grows, which I think is important to learning to try new foods. So that is a big deal as well. And then we're learning about a little bit of nutrition as we go. It's kind of age appropriate nutrition. So a lot of time we're talking about, okay, so if it's really orange, it probably has this type of nutrients in it. If it's really green, it might have this type of nutrients in it. So we're really looking at trying to get all the colors in, and I'm so sorry. We're learning about trying to get all the colors in so that we can encourage like more variety of nutrition.
How fun. I wish I was a kid so I could attend. Kayla, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, here in West Texas, we are looking at a lot of heat, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. We'll talk about that in the July 4th forecast coming up next.
Now, from the CBS7 First Alert Weather Center, here's Chief Meteorologist Tom Tiefertiller.
Well, as we take a look at the radar this evening, again, not a lot going on. We never saw too much develop. Now, we want to talk a little bit on what's going on out in the tropics. So we're going to take a little trip out into the Caribbean and talk about extremely powerful Hurricane Beryl just under your screen right there. It's in the eastern Caribbean. Now, it's a long way from Texas, but it looks like it is going to travel off to the northwest to west-northwest across the Caribbean, affecting Jamaica here over the next couple of days, but then possibly entering the Gulf of Mexico as we move in towards the weekend. And some forecast tracks are trying to take it into Texas to the upper Texas Gulf Coast. I should say upper Mexican coast and the lower Texas coast is what we're talking about. And that is something we're barely going to be watching coming up late this week and into the weekend. So if you have travel plans to the Texas Gulf Coast, be aware of what's going on with Hurricane Beryl. Back towards West Texas, high pressure is keeping us quiet right now across most of the state, and will keep any tropical systems off to the south. But as this system weakens a little bit and shoves off to the east, this trough-low pressure could draw some moisture from that system back into portions of the state. I think West Texas is not going to see anything out of it, but we could see an increase in some of this monsoonal moisture and see a thunder shower back in our forecast late this week with some slightly milder temperatures coming up in our forecast. Now, right now across the state of Texas, most of the action in the way of showers and thunderstorms is across portions of New Mexico as the monsoonal moisture is really starting to move in. And it is going to continue a flood threat into tomorrow around the Ruidoso area from scattered showers and thunderstorms. Across the state, hottest stuff in the state, really scattered about, some of it in West Texas, but all the way up to triple digits in Houston and the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And that's only half the story. You add in all that humidity, and heat index values are well above 110. Out here in West Texas, upper 90s out there. So again, hot enough. And we'll get into some of those triple digits coming up for tomorrow. Futurecast shows isolated showers, thunderstorms could be back with us in the mountain areas once we get a little daytime heating coming up tomorrow afternoon and continuing into the evening hours. But everything looks to be very isolated in the bulk of the activity to the northwest in New Mexico. Rather mild overnight tonight, mid to upper 70s on the way with some gusty south winds that'll hang around in the forecast tomorrow, bring a little humidity to all the heat as we're going to be looking at a lot of triple digits in our forecast tomorrow, on Wednesday, and on July 4th, Thursday, before we see some changes again with that high pressure weakening, moving away, putting some low rain chances into our forecast and maybe helping just a little bit with the temperatures coming up for the weekend.
A powerful hurricane barrels down on parts of the Caribbean while another one forms in the Gulf. Where these storms could head up next. A dangerous Category 4 hurricane is threatening parts of the eastern Caribbean. Hurricane Beryl regained strength over the weekend before making landfall in the region Monday. Forecasters say there has never been a recorded Atlantic hurricane that became so powerful so early in the year. Christian Benavides has been tracking the storm from Miami.
Hurricane Beryl made landfall near Grenada early Monday as residents on the Caribbean island hunkered down in their homes.
The state of emergency remains in place. It is for your own safety.
The Category 4 storm, packing winds of 150 miles per hour, dumped heavy rain throughout the Windward Islands and Barbados, blowing roofs off homes.
We're in a town called Worthing, close to the airport.
This travel blogger from Canada captured video of Beryl whipping up waves as it churned along the eastern Caribbean.
We are amongst many who will be impacted, and that kind of builds a sense of community in the middle of a storm like this.
In just a span of 42 hours, Beryl went from a tropical depression to a major hurricane, something forecasters say is rarely seen in the Atlantic at this time of year. Officials say that's due in part to warmer water temperatures resulting from climate change.
Teams are deployed to check for debris, check for fallen trees, check for fallen poles.
Ahead of the storm, residents on the islands boarded up shops and raced to grocery stores for essentials.
I have my water, bottled water and collected water. I have my extra food stuff, my batteries.
It's still unclear if Beryl will pose a threat to the U.S. after it moves on to other parts of the Caribbean and Mexico over the next few days. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Miami.
Overnight, another tropical storm named Chris formed near Mexico just a month into hurricane season. Giant panda Zhang Ka has captivated the internet with her intriguing back-scratching routine. It combines flexibility and unexpected elegance as filmed by the iPanda channel. Okay, take a look. Oh, I love it already. The 24-year-old panda launched into an elegant dance, swaying from side to side with her paws raised high as she scratched her back against a wooden surface. Experts believe pandas may scratch themselves against objects to relieve itches, mark their territory, or simply because it feels good. Born around 2000 in the wild, 24-year-old Zhang Ka was rescued from Sichuan's Fangtongjai Natural Reserve in 2001. She's saying, hey, oh, hey, oh. I love her. I'm obsessed. Also, I didn't really know that pandas could live that long either. So
I didn't either.
And she's still getting jiggy with it at 24.
And there you go. And she also just proves that everybody needs to scratch her back.
Yes. Yeah.
Get a little relief.
Absolutely.
Anyway, though, we need some relief from the heat. We're not going to get it. Triple digits hanging around through the July 4th holiday.
Alrighty. Thanks for watching us here at 9. We've got more news coming up tonight at 10.